Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to another transformative episode of the Harmony Blueprint Disrupting the Grind. I am your host, Tina Jett, transformational life coach and mindset trainer, dedicated to guiding you through the intricate journey of personal growth and harnessing the power of a resilient mindset. Today's episode, we're going to explore the topic of clarity. Clarity is a powerful force that shapes our personal and professional lives. So I want you to join us in welcoming our special guest today. Please welcome Shauna Kelly. Shauna, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited when you said you were available. So let's just dive right in. Now, I know you come from a corporate world. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, yeah, I worked as a journalist for many years, and then I moved into corporate communications. So I worked for agencies that provided those services to big corporations. And then ultimately, I worked in-house for a big corporation doing their website, their internal website for employees, the communications end of that. Um, then after I had my kids, I took some time off, and then I went back to work, and I worked in a completely different sector. I worked in land acquisition and that for
Okay.
the oil and gas industry, and that was for a big corporation as well. So
I
that
love
was,
that. Yeah.
yeah, quite
Lots of
diverse.
different things. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's just very similar to me. Yeah, with all the different hats I wore throughout all my different careers to get me to where I am now. So today's episode is about clarity. So can
Mhm.
you define like what clarity means to you? Um, in Did you see a lot of clarity, with in corporate?
Clarity to me just means like you've got your feet on the ground, you know exactly what you're getting up and going into every day for work, you know what your role is. Um, you're kind of there's not a lot of question around what your purpose is in
Hmm.
your workplace.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so not having it, it's like to me just being in a dark room, feeling along the walls and not knowing where you fit in. And when you don't know where you fit in at work, that opens up a huge can of vulnerability.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I talk about this all the time, with having clarity with teamwork,
Mhm.
and how important it is that, everybody has a role because it takes everybody's role is what's going to get the job done. So everybody needs to have clarity on exactly what their role is, to be able to everybody move together as a team to get to the
Mhm.
next step, And so that brings me to the question, when we look at clarity, and defining that, about why is it essential to have clarity not just for professional growth in the workplace, but also in personal growth as well.
Well, I think because if you don't have clarity in your life, you're just kind of fumbling along. You're in this sort of uh, abstract spot in your world, and i- it's not like you're trying to predict the future. But again, if you sort of don't get up and know who you are every day and know what it is that you can give to the world, clarity of yourself, just knowing this is who I am, this is what I stand for. If you're just fumbling along, not having that in your life is where I think we get into trouble, where we start to feel lost, where we look to numb ourselves with, you know,
Mm,
drinking or gambling or whatever, some kind of addictions or just being aimless, that feeling of aimless, I think that leads us to lower emotions.
yeah, no, I agree. I like that, with being aimless, and yeah, and you're right. The numbing activities, it could be just scrolling on TikTok, Facebook,
Mhm. Right.
Netflix, staring at the cabinet, just grabbing a bag of chips, yeah, not doing anything for yourself, just going, I'm just going to numb out. I don't have to deal with it. It was a bad day at work, you
Well,
know.
and social media too, we spend so much time looking at that, and if you're not clear about who you are, you're looking at what everybody else's curated posts are, and you're thinking, their lives are so much better than mine, and so, like, it really does start to wear you down and make you feel less and less and less.
Hmm. So
Mhm.
why would you say, so like in personal growth to have clarity, What is the importance of that?
In personal growth, if you're not clear, it's the foundation, right? It's what are my values? What are the things that light me up? And when you get clear on that, that's when you can start to pursue the personal growth because that's the right path that you're going to follow. If
Mm,
you are just randomly saying, I believe in this, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try this hat on this week, meditating, or I'm going to be mindful, but if you don't have sort of an idea of how that's going to add value to your life and why it's going to add value to your life, then I just don't see that it becomes a sustainable practice. So
mm.
you can be reading all kinds of self-help things, but if you don't really know who you are, if you're not clear on who you are, then how can you use those tools and keep them going?
Oh, I love that. Is such a profound perspective.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's knowing who you are first,
Mhm.
and having that clarity, so then you can bring the tools into all aspects of your life.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, you have to obviously use some tools to get clarity, but
Hmm. Yep.
but
Yep.
like I said, it's not this, launching ourselves out there and I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other thing. We can't do that until we sit with ourselves and figure out who we are first. And so those are the foundational personal growth tools that you need to engage with before you can start to move forward.
I love that. Now, is there a time in your life where maybe you didn't have clarity? Could you share a real life example of how you gained clarity to help you in your transformation?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, right before the pandemic. I feel like everybody usually probably says that. It happened right before the pandemic. um, so I
It's either pre-COVID or post-COVID. Right? Or
I've
during. Yeah,
arrived.
pre-COVID, I was doing this, and then
Right.
COVID happened, and then post-COVID, now I'm this. I know.
I know, it's pretty funny. So pre-COVID, I worked for a big oil and gas company. I was working in land and acquisitions and divestitures, and it was a small team. I think there was only about 10 of us. I was about 20 years older than everybody on the team, except for my boss. And I was the only one with kids. And there was only one other person who was married. So I really felt like the odd person out. I
Mm,
really, I just felt like every day that I came to work, I didn't know what I was doing there. Sort of, I was outside of the clique and it was really hard. You spend a lot of hours at work. And if you don't feel like you're welcome there, it can be a difficult thing to go to every day. So I
absolutely.
knew our company had already had 2 rounds of layoffs prior to COVID, and after the first one, I, stepped up and said to my boss, I my household is pretty comfortable, we're financially comfortable. If you need to lay someone off, I'm volunteering. Like, I was really trying to
Wow.
throw my hat out there. I wanted to
So
get
you
out.
volunteered if they
Yeah,
needed to lay somebody off, that you would be the one
yeah.
that would be
So
happy to do it. Wow.
so another round of layoffs came, they didn't lay me off. I was kind of actually upset about that. But my wish came true at COVID. It was probably about first month in. And I got the call and I was so excited because having the journalism background, I just had this big vision that I was going to be writing every day and really focusing on the things that meant a lot to me. I was healthy cooking, I'd be writing, I'd be engaged with my kids. And I hit the couch like full on. I just did not have any sense of what I was doing. So in terms of clarity, I just my whole world had fallen apart, and what I thought it was gonna be was absolutely not. So it took me a while. I kinda gave myself the grace of just floating for a little bit and being in limbo, and I had resisted doing the work coaching that came with the package when I got laid off. And finally, I started up with that, and through working with this, amazing work coach, and I was convinced at first that, like, the first thing they're gonna wanna do is send me back into another corporation, and I don't wanna go there. So, but she, really led me through the motions of figuring out what my values were, what were the things that lit me up in life, and really getting in touch with me. And then through that clarity, she threw out we figured out that I really did like to mentor. That was one of the roles that I did have at my previous job and previous jobs that I really enjoyed doing. I love helping people out and helping them excel. So she was the one who suggested maybe looking into life and health coaching. And I would have never guessed that. But when I started to look at all the characteristics of what it was that you did, it just made total sense to me.
Oh,
So,
love that.
you
Mhm.
know, a total about face from anything I'd ever done before. And yet now when I look back on it, there's a lot of elements that I bring into my coaching every day. So it is like I've just been on this journey to get to this point here right now, but unbeknownst to me.
Right, right, and that is we're all on this journey, to figure out what our purpose is, and I love
Mhm,
that, and I love how you just gave you decided, I'm just gonna give myself some grace right now,
mhm,
and let me as I figure it out, right, and we'd be able to get that clarity on what you wanna do with that the next step, the next chapter, right,
right,
of your life, I think, clarity, definitely help you make an informed decision on where to go in your
mhm,
career.
mhm. And, we were talking again about the, personal growth, and I had done a little bit of it, prior to the pandemic, but I don't feel again, looking back on that, I don't think I had done the groundwork on myself yet.
Mm,
So, what I was learning then wasn't resonating long term with me because I still didn't quite know who I was and what I
mhm.
wanted to do. And once you figure that out, then you're kind of away to the races again.
Yeah, and I think that's the light bulb moment
Yeah.
when we talk about, personal and professional growth is getting clarity and exactly what it is, right, that we want in our lives is
Mhm.
going, and then going after that, right, getting, then from there, that's where the professional growth comes in. And it might not be the professional growth that we were experiencing or expecting, right? Like you weren't expecting to be a coach. That was
No.
never, that was, yeah, I wasn't either.
Yeah.
That was never, that never even crossed my mind,
Right.
that I would be doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
Mhm. And yet I look back on things, what are the skills of a journalist? You interview people, there's a lot of listening, reactions to what their stories are, and I feel like coaching is exactly that. You are providing a time and space for someone to tell their story, and but rather than publishing it, right? But you're there to listen and you're there to respond to what they are talking about and ask them those powerful questions.
Yeah, and I think the listening part, going back to that, I think that's what's so crucial with coaching, right? Is because
Mhm.
we listen.
Yeah.
And so many times, I know throughout my life, throughout my corporate, career, I wasn't listened to,
Mhm.
and then learning to listen to myself, right? To that gut wisdom that we have.
Right. And then and the part about building connection with people, I mean, my experience at the last company I worked with and being the total outsider and knowing how hard that was to come in every single day. I mean, I had days where we would go in, we had our own offices. I can think of days where I didn't talk to anybody. Like I just
Yeah.
came in, I put my head down and I worked all day and I thought it was so lonely.
Hmm.
And so now when I look at what I'm doing, it's thinking about those people out there who are feeling so disconnected.
Hmm.
And in like the case with you with working with corporations, the same thing. Like how do we build communities at the office where everybody can come in and feel like they're contributing, they feel like they're being heard, they feel like their strengths are adding to the team as opposed to the cliques that form and sort of the isolation that can sprout out of that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm,
absolutely, 100%. Now, for our listeners that are listening to this today, and who want to start like cultivating clarity into their lives, do you have any tips? Any practical tips that they could take on right now?
I mean, aside from you can do those, value exercises where you start to determine what, values mean to you, like what talk to you. And I think that usually comes out of, if you think about things that you enjoy. So what's present in those moments? Is it adventure? Is it joy? Is it connection? Nailing those things down and then thinking about events in your life that you don't like participating in and what's absent from those. And in that analyzing both cases, I think you will come up with a pretty solid list of 3 to 5 values that you need to have present for you to be sort of lit up and moving forward.
I
And
love
then
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
you can also start looking at, what are your fields of fascination then? So, what are the areas that you really are interested in, you can get lost in finding information about? I mean, I always like cooking, I love food, um, but I'm also very active, so there's different sporting things that I enjoy. And when you start to pick apart areas of your life that are really fascinating to you and then moving in the values that you carry, you can start looking at either careers or some kind of passion play that you can
Mhm.
work with that will start to move you on a path that you're excited to get up to every day.
I love that. Those are
Yeah.
great action steps for our listeners.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Very valuable strategies that you've shared. So I love it. Awesome. Oh, I could just keep talking to you. I love this, but I know we have limited time.
Mhm.
So I always like to add a fun twist to our conversation. I don't know if you listened to my previous podcast, but I always play a game with my guests called This or That.
Mhm.
So basically, I'll just give you two options, and you choose your preference. It's super simple. Are
All
you
right.
ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
Early bird or night owl?
Uh, I'm a bit of both. I really love the silence of the morning, but if I stay up late at night, I can really get lost in that too. So I'm a
Okay.
hybrid.
Hybrid. Let's see, beach vacation or mountain resort?
Oh, I love the water, but I'm a mountain girl. Yeah.
Okay. Pen and paper or digital notes?
Oh, pen and paper.
Mhm. Yoga or meditation?
Meditation. I'm not very bendy these days.
Fiction or nonfiction books?
I like both, but you know what? I really love to get lost in a great fiction book. I love to get lost in a fiction book where you love the character so much when the story's over, you feel like, "Oh my goodness, I'm never gonna know what else is going on in their life."
Right. It's like a friend, right? Oh, absolutely. I haven't read one of those in a while. I need to do that. Flip flops or sneakers?
Oh, I'm a sneaker girl. I got a million sneakers.
Okay. Dancing or singing?
I think singing's more my jam, yeah.
Okay. Snakes or scorpions?
Oh, snakes.
Vanilla or chocolate ice cream?
Oh, I'm leaning toward 10 years ago, I would have said chocolate, but I'm really starting to appreciate a good vanilla these days.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. Great choices,
Mhm.
great choices. Oh my gosh, Shauna, thank you for playing along. It has been wonderful having you on the show today. Shauna, your insights of clarity, they truly are enlightening, and I guarantee our listeners have enjoyed their takeaways today. Where can our listeners find more information about your programs?
The fastest and easiest way to find me is at www.scribblywisdom.ca.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. And I will make sure that's in the show notes. And there's a special treat for our listeners this week. If you go to my website, www.life-wire.net, you'll receive this week's toolkit. There'll be a little surprise in there from Shauna this week. And also, I'm going to be featuring a guided meditation to help you on your road to clarity. You know, um, Shauna, it's been a pleasure. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
thank you so much, Tina. I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Awesome. And dear listeners, remember that clarity is within reach. It's your compass guiding you to success and fulfillment. So apply what you've learned today to disrupt the grind and create a life of purpose and harmony. And remember, our mission here is to inspire change within the corporate world, one episode at a time. But our commitment doesn't stop there. If you're ready to take action and bring positive transformation to your organization, we are here to help. Connect with us to explore how our coaching programs, workshops, and seminars can reshape your corporate culture, boost your productivity, and create a harmonious workplace. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the Harmony Blueprint on your favorite podcast platform to ensure you never miss an episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And together, we're disrupting the grind and paving the path to a more successful and fulfilling corporate world. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we will continue to explore the transformative power of mindset, teamwork, and holistic well-being. Until then, remember that your journey towards change and harmony begins now. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey with the Harmony Blueprint, Disrupting the Grind. If you enjoyed today's episode and found value in our discussions, we would love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver valuable content to you and others that are seeking personal growth and work-life harmony. Be sure to stay connected with us by visiting our website at www.life-wire.net/Harmony Blueprint. There, you're going to find additional resources, show notes, and exclusive offers to support you on your journey to success and fulfillment.